Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here for a double review for the last two episodes of Our Kind of People. That is episode 9, which actually aired back on December 7th. We're just going to do it like a brief recap of that episode. It blew by, right? Like, it was super duper quick episode. like, I mean, it was an hour, but it felt like 15 minutes, right? And then our new episode, which just aired on the 11th. Yeah, Tuesday, January 11th. So that was a huge gap between December 7th and January 11th. I will tell you that I'm a little nervous about the second season of Our Kind of People because, one, it hasn't been confirmed, and two, the numbers have been super low for this show. Now, the hiatus doesn't help at all. The fact that they're constantly dropping other shows on doesn't help at all. But I also don't think it helps that the show's plot lines move at, rocket speed. I don't think that helps at all. I think it kind of keeps people from getting as invested in the storyline as they should. But yeah, let's talk about it. Now, episode 9 was called Twice as Hard, Twice as Good. And basically what we got to see was Angela sort of losing the anticipated funding she was going to get, and then finding new avenues. A woman who is an alumni of, the whole little sisterhood thing they got going on, the Gracities, major money player. She was able to win her over, and she was hoping that this woman was going to sort of take her under her wing and give funding to Eve's crown. So that's kind of what she was working on in episode 9. We did get to see Aunt Piggy come back in episode 9. She copped to the drugs that Angela found in episode 8, and then consequently blamed the daddy llama for it, which is Nikki's dad, who is staying with them. Why is he walking around in a half robe with his chest all out, coming out the shower? I was like, when you come out the shower, sir, get dressed. You don't be out here in front of all these young folks. Your daughter here. Go put some clothes on, sir. Go put some clothes on. It ain't like you Morris Chestnut. Go put some clothes on, sir. Yeah, it's just weird how many random shirtless men. I mean, you see a courtroom scene in a Lee Daniels film, and the lawyers are shirtless, the judge is shirtless, the bailiff is shirtless. Like, shirtless is he and Tyler Perry. They love a good shirtless man. Anywho, so I digress. So it was Aunt Piggy's drugs. Evidently, Aunt Piggy had a drug problem, and with everything that was going on with Tariq questioning her about Darius and her lying about it, and Teddy kind of low key blackmailing her, she felt like all she could do was turn to them opioids. Child. I don't know if it was opioids. It could have been that that white girl. Okay, anyway, it was a song back in the 80s. Anyway, so so she admitted to it, and she told Angela everything, that how Teddy, I don't like the way she has come back, and now she is like this old, wise woman. In episode 10, the way she is talking is teeing me off. I was like, girl, you, first of all, you fine. You good looking. It's no reason for you not to be talking with more wisdom and grace. The way you coming across like you are 200 years old. You know what I'm saying? 200 years old. I ain't care for that. But anyway, I digress. Let me see now. So Nikki and Taylor are back on their stilo, and they off and on depending on what time of day it is. If it's between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. they together, but between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. she with Lauren, Taylor with Lauren. I don't understand how this is supposed to wash out, that she is kissing and hunching on both girls. Like, am I the only one to think that's nasty? Am I the only one to think that's nasty? First of all, that's your cousin. Like, I just don't. Anyway, Lauren got her own situation going on because, she found that the bungalow key in her mama's car. And I didn't understand how you got a whole horse for your birthday, but you don't have your own vehicle. Why are you driving your mama car? Anyway, I digress. And it's something so private. She can't talk to anyone but Taylor about it. I'm like, talk to your brother about it. Why are you talking to Taylor? I just don't get it. Go talk to your mama about it, right? She can't do that because she might get slapped hard to the ground. Prying and being in grown folks' business is a good way to get mollywopped, right? Maternally. Anyway, so she just has to talk to Taylor, and it has to be right now in the middle of this bonfire when Taylor on a date with Nikki. Anyway, she talks Nikki into going with her over to the bungalow. But before she does that, remember that Jack is going to sell his shares. Jack was going to sell his shares. Olivia goes over to talk to Jack. Olivia DuPont goes over to talk to Jack, and they have a drink. She brings his favorite alcohol, their favorite alcohol, and they have pleasantries. They talk about what her family meant to his family and how that relationship was forged. The fact that Jack is the last of his line. And that she couldn't allow him to sell both of their legacies down the river to Teddy Franklin. And she wasn't going to allow him to sell his shares, which is the majority, the lion's share, over to Teddy. And he tells her it's all said and done. It's going to happen. Now, mind you, he's already drunk when she's gotten there, and he's already mixed up several lines of cocaine, right? And he offers her cocaine. Like, he is twisted. Okay. I mean, twisted. She gets up to leave, and he grabs her arm, and she snatches her arm back. And when she snatches her arm back, it was a complete accident. He falls over into a glass table and smashes his head and dies. I don't think he died from smashing his head. I think he died from being high as heck, drunk as heck, and smashing his head. I think that's what killed him, right? Well, she gathers herself and goes on out. Now, she leaves the drinking glass, the martini glass she was drinking out of there. I would have took the rest of my liquor too, but I digress. So when Taylor and Lauren go over, because they're going to have what for conversation with him, she uses the key and goes on in and finds his body there in the middle of the living room floor, her and Taylor. And they run out. And after they run out, they go back to the party, and Nikki decides to leave. She has decided to leave. It has taken her way longer to come back, Taylor to come back. Nikki is already gone. Then we see where Taylor goes and she talks to her mom and dad about what happened. And she says, it was just so weird. You know, Leah comes in the room where Lauren and her dad are talking, and she was like, "What's going on? You need to hear this." Lauren's dad says, Raymond says, she says, Jack is dead. Taylor and I found the car key to the bungalow and I went over there, Taylor and we found him dead. And she's like, oh. And so Raymond's like, listen, I'm going to go over and just make sure everything is fine before I call the police, right? So Mama done left the body. Lauren done left the body. They go over. He goes over and does the cleanup, calls the police. They get the body. Like, none of this is on camera. Comes back and he's talking to, the next morning, he's talking to his mom. And his mom is saying, you know, she feels like everything's going to be fine with him losing the company. Everything's going to be great. And he was like, no, listen here. Apparently she did all of that with Jack, the conversation that she was having, because it was her hope to have controlling shares over the Gorman company, Gorman. She was promised, you know, some controlling, a controlling position in the company by her husband, and was let down, Raymond's dad, and was let down, which is why she invested in Eve's crown. She invested everything she had in Eve's crown. This is why she don't like Angela, because she invested with Angela's mama's company. Okay, so when Angela mama got locked up, the company, the whole idea, the whole proposal, and all the funding and everything just sort of got flushed. And her husband, you know, basically was like, I told you, women are not cut out for business. You ain't had no business trying to be a part of this company and yada, yada, yada. And you see, you lost all this money. And basically he told her never to ask for a controlling position in any of his companies again. Basically, just the gist of it. So she thinks that if Raymond gets this company back and they don't have Jack in place, that she is going to have a leadership role as well. Kind of like what Teddy is doing to Leah, in that Raymond would be Teddy and she would be Leah, right? You know, Leah want to do this philanthropic stuff. And Teddy's like, nah. What we doing over here is looking like we doing philanthropic work when we really are underhanded. Okay, you actually want to do the philanthropic work, so no. Now, Olivia just want to be in charge. She just wants to show that she can run a company. So Raymond tells her that he cleaned up the mess. He found her glass that she left there. He knows that she was there. He's got the glass in a plastic bag. He's saying he got the evidence before the police got there. Now, if you think about this whole point that he's making about the fact that I've got the evidence and you just stay in your place. I know you think you're going to run Gorman, but Gorman is my company now. Especially since Jack is gone. If you don't stay in your place, I'll turn you in. I was like, that's your mama. Raymond, you trying to be vicious. If you don't get your soft, cuddly pectorials over here, give mama some sugar. Child. Anyway, you could tell she was honestly hurt. Now, that's episode 9. Let's fast forward to episode 10. And we're going to talk about this whole glass, I got evidence on you type situation. Listen, the final competition for the Gracity's initiation is a cook-off. All of that, and you gonna send the women in the kitchen to bake. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, anywho. So Angela's mom cooked up some stuff, but it was for hair. She does a great job of cooking a beautifully done pound cake with rose water, coconut oil, and honey. Anyway, her and Leah are getting along fantastically. But once again, Aunt Piggy, now this is episode 11. Let me make sure I tell you guys what the name of the episode is. Okay, calm down. I know what my pen is. So we did Twice as Hard, Twice as Good. Now this is called Just Desserts. And it's called that because of this baking of last competition that the Gracity initiates have to do. Every time we see Aunt Piggy in this episode, she is somewhere sullen. And she get older and older in the voice box. She still look good, but that voice box, that Debbie Morgan, that voice box was so, I lied to you, Tariq. I didn't mean to lie to you the way that I lied to you. You got to forgive me. I was just so afraid. I didn't know. I was like, girl, what is you doing? Why is you overacting like this, Debbie? We know you got the chops. You ain't got to come out. You know what I'm saying? You can be poised and beautiful even at your age. You do not have to come across in this old lady, sitting under the tree type of voice box. Anyway, she talks about how she went to a meeting when she sees Angela. Angela's in there dancing around in the living room with the daddy llama and Nikki. They supposed to be looking like a real family and everything. Okay, fine. Why can't we see more scenes with him with his daughter as opposed to you always in the scenes, Angela? You're supposed to be building a business. You're supposed to be doing this Gracie's Tees thing. I don't never see you doing no hair. I don't never see you filling up no containers full of products and stuff. You think the answers to what your daddy did to your mama is just going to come and knock and ring your doorbell? It is not. You got to get out there and find it. So, Aunt Piggy done went to a meeting, child. And at that meeting, they talked about accountability and all these other things. Well, Angela tells Aunt Piggy that she's going to have a talk with Teddy about blackmailing her. Aunt Piggy said, you'll do no such thing. You're going to hold it in the road till you get your funding. And then we're going to hold him accountable. We're going to find a way to hold him accountable. Which she agreed to. What did she do? She go down to the meeting where they talk about all of the protocols for the upcoming competition. They only picking 5 people. Teddy come over while she talking to Leah. It's a good conversation. And put his hand on her arm, and she can't hold it together. Don't touch me! Everybody looks over like, like, girl, what is going on? And she's like, excuse me, I've got to go. She runs out. Then she at home in the kitchen with doggone Nikki, supposed to be making this cake. And Leah comes over. She just needed a little bit of a break. See, because she got Raymond talking about bringing her daddy down, right? We ain't seen Lauren or the invisible son since like episode 7. But she's so overwhelmed with everything that's going on with the Gracities. She's been siding against Olivia with Angela. In Angela's defense. They are getting along so well. And she comes over in peace to have a conversation about why Angela kind of went off a little bit about Teddy touching her. Like, what's going on? And Angela finally tells her after a little tooth pulling that she thinks her mom was ultimately framed for selling drugs by Teddy. She can't prove it, but she thinks that. So Leah gets in her head that she's going to talk to her mama, but put a pin in that. So Raymond knows that there were papers in the bungalow the papers that he signed, that Jack signed to sign his shares over to Teddy. Now, Teddy done sent Tariq down to the police station to get those papers. Now, you got the glass that your mama was drinking. You was at the place before, the bungalow, before the police got there. You're the one that called the police, Raymond. Why wouldn't you get the papers? Why would you have them take all that paperwork down? Like, that's the first number one thing, is that you would have got that paperwork. It was just no reason whatsoever for that whole exchange between Tariq and Raymond to take place. Tariq was supposed to go down and pick up the papers for Teddy. This evidence, now you know they don't let evidence out in a foul play situation. They don't let evidence out, but Tariq can go down and pick up the papers. Raymond gets there first, right? And he tells Leah that he's going to go down and get these papers, and he's going to bring this thing to a halt with her dad trying to take over the company. And finally he'll be able to take his company back and sort of take Teddy down in that way. So here's another person that has something to say about Teddy, and she's had rose-colored glasses on about her dad all this time. Well, Raymond goes down, and the police says, there was a woman in the room. There was the smell of perfume in the room. And the maid says she put 3 glasses in there, but there was only 2. Dude, fingerprints? Did you fingerprint the room? Did you do forensic? Did you test the man blood? You saw he was drunk and high. Why is it that you thinking that it's foul play? Raymond was like, he liked the company of paid escorts. I just don't want everybody to know this about his reputation, especially since he's the last of his bloodline. You know what I'm saying? It's sordid business. I was like, sure, but Harvey Weinstein bringing it, Epstein, whatever his name is, they ringing the bells. Yeah, okay. That's Prince Williams. What's his name? Anywho, I digress. He don't want to bring any back, whatever. So, the police tell him no. First of all, that police detective was fine. He was an older gentleman, but he was fine. Did y'all check out his muscular area? The muscular area under that white shirt? I was like, where Lee Daniels get all these fine men from? Where they located at, Lee? Anywho. Oh, no, we can't let you have the papers. Teddy and his lawyers have already decided to come down and get the papers. I was like, nobody should be giving evidence out of that room. Are you kidding? Anyway, I digress. So, once he realized he can't get the papers, he leaves. But on his way out, he runs into Tariq. Tariq has gotten the papers, okay? But because that was the last location where he and his mom were together, and they found out that his dad had died. He was having like flashbacks, a little PTSD, and he was crying, and he was just having like a panic attack, right? And Raymond got him some water and tried to console him. He also wanted them papers. And when Tariq realized that he wasn't just helping him to be helping him, he went even further back, into the past, thinking about being in boarding school and how they all treated him, how things got stolen in the boarding school and they thought it was a poor black kid, and how Raymond not only didn't say no, he knows he's not a thief, but also because he didn't take up for him when other people was accusing him and stuff like that. He was like, "You're just out for yourself, Raymond. You hardly ever talk to me. You hardly ever acknowledge me." He walks out with the papers. So Raymond is left without the papers, right? And he dumps all of this in Leah's lap. Okay. So going back to Leah then goes to her mama's to the convalescent home where her mama is being kept. Her mama is doing much, much better. She's still a terrible actress, but she's doing much, much better. Oh, I don't know what it is about her. She's giving me like a Melba Moore type. I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, she starts asking her about back in 84. And how in 84, um, it was the ball or something. This same cooking event had come up, and they were going to do like a ceremony or something. What happened with Eve, of Eve's crown, and Daddy had decided to leave her and run off with Eve, and what happened that day, and her mom just lost it. Like, she was forcing her to talk about it, to try to remember it. Teddy was there with the set of orderlies. He's got to have the room bugged. He's got to have the room, on camera or something. I mean, he was there. The orderlies were there. I mean, they were just ready to cut that conversation short immediately. So he told, asked Leah, why would she be there? Why would she be talking to her mom about what was going on? And she says, well, Angela thinks that you framed her mom. Framed her mom? I got her a lawyer. This is what Teddy says. I'm the reason she got off. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I'm the reason they let her out. That's what he said. And you tell Angela, you either stop Angela from this tirade. It's just going to tear us apart. I tried to welcome her in, and I know we love her and everything now. But if she keeps going on in this vein, I'm going to stop her. If you don't stop her your way, I'm going to stop her. She has to let this go. We're going to have to cut her off. And then he tells her that if she doesn't let this go, there's no choice. She's gotta cut her off. So, Aunt Piggy goes to Tariq and talks to Tariq, and she confesses about the fact that she lied and all of that stuff. And it's this whole conversation, and he's upset with her, and this makes her feel that much more guilty. And she wants to go and turn herself in. It's a terrible idea. Like, you've no idea what they're going to do to you, Aunt Piggy. You have no idea. And you could be confessing to something that they're not even looking at you for. They're not even looking for a killer, period, let alone you. Anyway, I think she wants to absolve her guilt. And I think she wants to make herself feel, be accountable for the situation. I also think she wants to take the power out of Teddy's hand by turning herself in. So he doesn't keep holding it over her head that he knows this thing about her. Right? Stupid, but it's smart. Right? So, Raymond decides he's going to reapproach Tariq, which he does at the cooking competition. He reapproaches Tariq, and it goes well. Teddy is keeping an eye on them, and he feels like he's got Tariq under his thumb. Tariq assures him he's got his paperwork and he's going to give it to him, and he says so in front of Raymond. Later on, him and Raymond meet in the alley, and he gives Raymond the paperwork that he needs. And he tells him he's done. He's leaving Teddy. He's not going to work with Teddy. Now, Teddy is helping him put on these like beach skybox idea that he has. And it's like VIP seats put on the beach. And so he starts the episode off with pitching it. So he's giving up a lot, but it just feels like he's stressed out. He can't trust anyone. No one's telling him the truth. And Teddy's behind a lot of those feelings. Well, Raymond talks him into staying and being his inside man. We can both make money off of this and take Teddy down. And Tariq agrees. Somehow I just feel like Tariq's going to end up mollywopped in a corner. And, sleeping with the fishes. Is it just me, or does anyone else think Tariq is going to end up sleeping with the fishes? Like, it just feels inevitable. And if they, sweep his whole murder/death situation under the rug like they did Jack, maybe not. I mean, Jack was nothing to us. He was like a sneeze. Jack was the episode's gentle fart, right? Like, he was a poot in the wind. Like, no one cared about the whole Jack situation. I didn't think it was handled properly, especially with supposed to be this murder that a lot of things are hinged upon. But At the same time, no one really cared about Jack. Like, anyway. So Raymond burns the signed copy that Jack had to turn in, to sell Teddy all the shares. He burns that contract. He also learns from Leah, what transpired, why Lauren went there, because she found the card in the car, and why she had the card in the car, and how at the other event he slipped a kiss on her. And that was one of the reasons she forgave him, for the fact that Alex slipped a kiss on Raymond in the car in front of the hospital, right? And so they're kind of in a better place, But like I said, the competition has come. And everybody loves Angela's pound cake. It is delicious. Even Olivia loved it. She thought it was great. Pound cake is her favorite dessert. It was really wonderful. Well, they do all of the voting. Teddy is there. And Angela and Leah got to talking right after they came by her booth and had a little piece of cake. And she says, "Hey, I talked to Daddy." Leah said, "I talked to Daddy, and he assured me he had nothing to do with that whole situation. He even got her a lawyer." And so Angela, once again, not knowing how to hold it in the road until you got you got yourself standing. You got yourself good standing. You don't know how to hold it in the road. You tell Leah to her face that you're going to bring her daddy down by any means necessary. You're not going to stop it if you have to turn that whole island upside down. You're going to find out what happened to your daddy, your mama, and you don't care if it destroys her father, y'all father. So they voting, and Olivia, the young woman that could possibly fund Eve's crown, is voting, and a couple of other women. Altogether, it's like 4. And so 2 women vote for, 2 women vote against. And so it's up to Leah to break the tie. She has to say yay or nay to vote Angela in to the Gracities. And she says no. Right? She said no because, one, she was getting pressure from her dad, and she said no because she knows that Angela is not going to stop. And either she stops Angela or her dad's going to stop Angela. And if her dad don't stops Angela, it's going to be, it's going to be a lot worse. I really think that's why Leah did it. I think Leah loves Angela and she wants their relationship to grow and to blossom. I think she did it for Angela's own good, or what she felt like was Angela's own good. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put it down below, because Leah, when she got home that night and she hugged Raymond, she was crying. She was upset. She wasn't proud of what she did. She wasn't proud of what she did. Teddy is hoping that Leah telling her no and this rejection that she got from the Gracities committee is going to send Angela packing and go back to Boston. I don't think it's that easy, Raymond, but this looks like this is what his hope is. Tariq comes over to Angela when she gets home. Of course, she is dejected and rejected and exhausted. He apologizes for his behavior. He wants them to try to start over. He wants, them to, get back together. She gives him a kiss and tells him she wants that too. She's missed him too, but tonight is not the night. She just wants to lay down. When she goes inside, the daddy llama is there, never working. He's always just lurking. Never working, just lurking. And he's found a letter from Aunt Piggy. And that letter says, it's a really sweet note that she wrote, still in that motherly voice, that grandmotherly voice. My dearest Angela, I am so regretfully afraid to tell you that I am turning myself into the police. That's what she does. As the letter is being read, we see Aunt Piggy walking into the police station, and that is how the episode ends. Angela is beside herself. I think there's 2 more episodes. I think there's 12 episodes altogether. So we'll get episode 11 next week and then 12. And I think that'll be it for the season. Fingers crossed that we get a season 2. And that season 2 is just a little bit more, it's paced out a little bit better. So if you're looking for something to pray for, you can add that to your list, right? What do you guys think about how the season is transpiring? I was hoping that we could get, something a little bit more substantial in terms of a real whodunit. Somehow I don't know that that's going to happen. We still haven't had any more conversation about Alex. It was like the Alex thing just kind of disappeared. I don't trust the daddy llama. I think the daddy llama is up to no good. And what do you think the police are going to say when Piggy walks in there? Hello, gentlemen. Oh, I am a murderer. Cookies, anyone? They're fresh from the oven. Yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think of this episode and even episode 9. Like I said, the whole Jack murder thing was like a poot in the wind on this episode. Just like that, the Gracie T's opportunity is lost for Angela. We've not seen Lauren or the invisible son since episode 7, I think. So I'm just wondering how this is all going to play out. I would love to know what you all think. If you would, put it down below. Listen, welcome back. Happy New Year. If I've not already told you all that. I look forward to the last 2 episodes for this season. And until next time, honeybees, mwah, mwah, mwah. I holla.